Heading to the Eyre Peninsula and discussion not about the football on this occasion. We did have a bit of a go-in on that, didn't we, last Friday night when Jared Sampson joined us from Central Eyre Woodney United, who are now called Central Eyre United. Was interesting to get a look at the weekend and how many folk were looking at the podcast of it. Flow Sports is the place you can find that podcast. If you go to Spotify, type in Flow Sports on the search and you'll see that article and many other sports articles that we're podcasting now. In addition to bringing to you what we do on the radio, let's though go to the Eyre Peninsula in politics. Sam Telfer will replace Peter Treloar as the local candidate for the seat of Flinders at the next election, which is, I guess, a bit over 12 months away. The seat of Flinders has the sitting member for 3 terms, Peter Treloar, farmer from Cummins area. And, Sam Telfer has got the farming background in Tumby Bay area. Angara, I think, if I get it a little bit more accurately, and the Telfer's name is synonymous in that region with farming, and great tradition there too for them and the Angara Church of Christ, as I recall, a little church in a little country town that's had such a strong following with the Telfer family for a long time. The selection of Sam Telfer in the role is probably no secret. That there were 2 candidates that put up their hand, and Sam was able to, on the weekend, win the Liberal Party's nomination in South Australia for the seat of Flinders, which is expected to be a pretty safe seat for the Liberals in South Australia, albeit that Sam has already got a fairly strong history in local government, not only in the Tumby Bay Council area, but also as a member of the Eyre Peninsula Local Government Association, and then also at the South Australian LGA as a head or president of that organisation. So it appears to be a reasonably popular choice. Let's watch and see how Sam goes as a candidate. Well, it'd be interesting to see whether Sam Telfer can land a ministry too, which seems to be eluding the candidate for the Eyre Peninsula seat. I mean, Liz Penfold was there previously and she never made it to the ministry, and Peter Treloar hasn't been able to get to the ministry, and now Sam Telfer, an opportunity to represent the Eyre Peninsula if he can win the state seat at the next election against other candidates. But one would expect he's in with a good chance, and we'll wait and see how he goes, and then whether or not he can make it even into a ministry in a Liberal government if they were to be successful at the next election. I mean, he might even find himself in opposition as a spokesperson for a portfolio, the way the Liberals are going at the moment. On the nose a little bit after the decision on last week, where a number of their members voted with the Greens and Labor members. In fact, the more Labor people, I think, actually, than Liberals that voted against what is seen as pretty draconian laws relating to termination of fetuses and so forth. So I think there's a lot to be followed through at the Liberal side of it, and they're certainly going to have to do a lot of work to repair a lot of faith that's been lost amongst many of their candidates.